Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me, please. Do you know what I just said? That was, good morning, I'm pleased to meet you, but in the language used by those for whom actions speak louder than anything else in the world, sign language. Could you ever imagine that there are over 200 various sign languages existing on planet Earth? To be exact, I began my speech in British Sign Language. Those 200 languages differ a lot, just like our ordinary verbal ones. And they are mostly used by the deaf-mute and the hearing-impaired, by people whose number in Britain alone is almost 9 million. Obviously, the deaf-mute are not the only people who use signs to substitute words. We use it in our everyday life as well. By the way, to say OK with no words, we use this gesture. But in Brazil, it is considered offensive and is practically equal to showing the middle finger in the US. So, think twice before showing the hotel manager that everything is OK. Unless you want to tell him that the room is comfortable and quiet, a perfect place to have an affair with his wife. But don't worry, if that manager comes from Cyprus, he won't think so. Because by showing your OK sign, you will literally call him a homosexual. That was just a note of caution. And now, lend me your ears, ladies and gentlemen, and let us return to those whose thoughts are not words, but just images. Well, one day I asked myself, what is heard in silence? This question encouraged me to learn a bit more about the deaf-mute's own parallel dimension, their own world. And this really is a totally new world, a life within a life, with its own rules and traditions, its unique understanding of freedom, friendship, and bliss. My dear audience, you would respond me if I asked you, what do you feel when you hear your beloved say, I love you? And what feelings does listening to your little baby's happy, sincere laughter evoke? But these are the questions they have never been able to answer. You know, in ancient times, such people would definitely be considered demoniac and violently thrown down from a cliff, burnt in fire alive. But now, in the 21st century, the century of democracy, tolerance, and equality, we must take care of them. We must show that we are not indifferent. I agree with Edmund Burke, who said that next to love, sympathy is the divinest passion of the human heart. But in this case, just sympathy is not enough. It is important to let them not feel disabled. One of the primary problems is the relationships between the deaf-mute and those who are able to hear. Time and again, do the deaf-mute have to confront rudeness and ignorance. People often perceive them as mentally retarded and even lunatic. And this is the worst thing. And we must stop this. And you, the wonderful people here, can contribute to our global welfare. At least smile at them if you come across them in the streets, instead of those contemptuous glances I'm already so used to take notice of in buses or shops. Because they need to feel equal. They need to feel happy, just like anyone else does. And they need to have equal opportunities. For instance, have you ever wondered how a deaf-mute can call the ambulance if one is unwell or even dying? Or the police if one is offended in the streets? Silence means nothing to the operator, I suppose. Therefore, millions of deaf-mutes all over the world are practically unable to get any help in case of emergency. Would you like to stand in their shoes? Would you like to live in the soundless world? Absolutely not. But we are not going to be idle, are we? Because we are not indifferent, ladies and gentlemen. And in conclusion, I'd like to recite a poem which is the bare expression of my own thoughts and feelings after exploring that extraordinary soundless world, the world where people have no say. Please tell me, fellow, what is thunder? Do snowy carpets crisp beneath your feet? And does the surf's noise sound like wonder? If only I could hear it. Please tell me, fellow, about the springs. Why are you silent, dear? Start! Yes, I can see my star. It blinks, but I can't hear my beating heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikita. Questions, please. Evgeny Yakovchik. Thank you for your speech. What do you think what governments can do for such people? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. That's just to the point. I think the government have all opportunities to help those people. The first thing is social advertisement, to let the people know that those fortunate people need just equality and understanding. The second thing is different benefits and providing, spending more money of the budget to provide those people with hearing aids, because they cost too much for families to afford. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you. What can you personally do to improve the condition of those people?
Thank you. Well, firstly, I care. I really care. Secondly, I don't miss any chance to show those people that I care. And thirdly, I donate. Every time I get my salary during my winter or summer school vacations, I send a certain amount of money to those relief funds that exist in Belarus and in other countries. You know, I don't earn very much, but I think that even a small contribution can help them solve their problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Thank you.